Hello and welcome to the UNM School of Law Student and Career Services podcast. My name is Bonnie Steepleton and I'm the director. And I'm very pleased to have today with us Professor Sherri Burr, who's going to talk a little bit about careers in entertainment law. Welcome, Professor Burr.
Thank you, Bonnie, for having me. It's a pleasure to talk about this topic.
It's a personal favorite of mine. I think it's a really exciting and timely one. So it's great to have you. Let's start with a little bit about you and where you come from, what your background is, and how you came to become an expert in entertainment law.
All right. So while I was a student at Yale Law School, I took a class on art and entertainment law, and I really liked it. And I ended up getting teaching jobs focused on intellectual property. And when I, as a first year law professor here, I was able to teach art law and intellectual property. And then I did a swap with a professor at the University of Hawaii in 1997. And while I was there, I created the entertainment law class because there were lots of students there who had an interest in entertainment law and a background in entertainment law. And then I decided to create a TV show in order to give them more avenues for meeting people that they might eventually represent. And so after the swap was over, it lasted 3 semesters. When I came back, I asked to teach entertainment law here, and I created the TV show here. And eventually I ended up publishing books in entertainment law. This is one of the entertainment law casebook. And it's just one of my favorite topics. So that's why.
That's quite remarkable. You've literally written the book. I love that. And I recall the TV show. It was full production, right? The students had to do everything. Camera, write the scripts if you did that way. It was like a really immersive experience for our students.
Yeah, it was a television talk show. So the students helped produce by getting guests. They helped co-host with me. And so it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to have that level of connection with my students. So, and it lasted for 19 years, so almost 20 years.
Wow, remarkable. So tell us, if you were advising a student about how to get started on this path, what would you advise them?
Okay, so I created a quick PowerPoint, and I'm going to share my screen, and about careers in the entertainment industry. I wanted to show people what are some of the options available if this is a path they choose to go down. So options for those with law degrees. One option is to join a small boutique law firm that specializes in entertainment law. And they are, especially in the big centers like New York or California, you can find these. And even if you want to stay where you are, you can start your own boutique law firm. So, for example, there was an Indiana lawyer who started a law firm representing dead celebrities, and he brings in hundreds of millions of dollars a year in revenue for the estates of dead celebrities. So there's always an option if this is a field that really interests you. A second option is to join a large law firm with an entertainment law unit. And it might not just be specific to entertainment law. It might be an intellectual property law unit with entertainment law aspects. And there are those firms in Albuquerque that have entertainment law units. Like the Peacock firm is a large intellectual property firm. The Rohde firm has an intellectual property unit, and one of my students specializes there in entertainment law. And this is a particular possibility in New Mexico because we have so many film productions going on here. A third option is to join a big agency like Creative Artist Agency or ICM or Endeavor. And those are usually based out in Los Angeles. And you can join them as an in-house attorney where you're writing contracts for their clients, or you can become an agent. The route to becoming an agent is harder because usually, especially in those big agencies, you have to start in the mailroom delivering mail for several months so that you get the feel of the flow of how the agency works. And then you work up to an assistant to an agent, and then a desk assistant to the agent, where you're actually in his office managing the phones. And I sat in one day at an agent's office, and I actually watched him manage the whole flow of emails and phone calls, putting his clients in pictures and so forth. So that was very interesting. Another option is to join a big management company, and you can do that as an in-house attorney. There are lots of these in Los Angeles, and they handle management for clients. The difference between being an agent and a manager, for example, is that big agents typically get 10% of the client's revenue. So if you have a client like a Tom Cruise who pulls in $20 million a picture, then 10% is $2 million that goes to the agency, and you get a percent of that. Managers typically get anywhere from 5 to 25%, depending on the contract that they negotiate. And managers can be not only for film, but also for music acts. One time when I was flying back from Hawaii to the US, I sat next to the manager for Guns N' Roses. And Guns N' Roses band had not been functional for quite a number of years by this time, but they were still pulling in $100 million a year just because so many other bands were covering their songs.
Wow.
And so the manager was managing that. And he said when they were working, part of the difficulty is that that band did not get along. And so he had to manage relationships with the band. And so that's a challenge. You have to have super people skills to be both an agent and a manager. You can join a union as an in-house attorney. I'm on the board of the Authors Guild Foundation, which is a kind of trying to unionize for authors. But one of the things that it does is that people who join the Authors Guild can have their contracts looked over by in-house attorneys. So that's one of the features of joining. And so similarly to joining like SAG, the Screen Actors Guild Union, they always have in-house attorneys. A final option I'll discuss is to join a big entertainment company like Disney or Fox. They all have in-house attorneys, and all the in-house attorneys want to get to the business side. And in fact, I had a law school classmate who started out as an in-house attorney at Disney, and one of his goals was to get to the business side where he was making some of the creative decisions. So those are a variety of options that someone can explore if they're interested in entertainment law as a potential career.
Those are great. I had a student once who went to Disney. There was a career fair on main campus, and he went there and was recruited for a law job. So that was a double benefit, where the unexpected attendance at a main campus generic career fair landed him a job at Disney. I've heard you mention things like, I think of themes, royalties, contracts, negotiations. What sort of things could or should a student do in school to become in a position where they're a good candidate for one of these positions?
Well, I would say start out by reading Entertainment Law in a Nutshell, which is another one of my publications. But the advantage is that it's actually read all over the world, because the U.S. entertainment industry is such a big player in the world entertainment field that a lot of the legal contracts and the legal concepts that are created in the United States get used all over the world. And I've been fortunate to interview lawyers all over the world to talk about this issue, and I put that in the book. But one thing that you should definitely consider if you are interested in this area is take as many business law courses as you can, because this is basically a business. Take contracts, anything interested in business law, property law, wills and trusts, because some of these law firms offer a full service to their clients, and they charge 5% of all the client's income. But as a consequence, they do the client's divorces, they do the client's wills, they also do the client's criminal problems if the client should have those.
Fantastic. Well, was there anything else you wanted to add?
No, I would just say this is a fun field. I've enjoyed the people that I've met, and it's the kind of field that has a lot of creative energy. So it's for people who like being in a creative atmosphere.
Well, thank you so much for your time and your passion and all your expertise. I really appreciate having you today. It's been
You're
great.
welcome, Bunny. Thank you. You.